What's up, YouTube? MIL-SPEC Watchers here. What do we have here? Grand Seiko SBGH257 Professional Diver. Back in 2017, Basel World, Grand Seiko unveiled this professional diver. Professional diver that's suitable for saturation diving with a high beat movement, 600-meter rating, makes this watch a smash hit. Also, this is a limited edition, 500 pieces. There was also a brother to this watch, the SBGH 255, has the same specs, although that one had a black dial with gilt accents, and the 257 here has a blue dial with white silver accents, right? Both beautiful watches, like I said, similar specs. So this one here it's a little bit more special because it's limited edition, also limited to 500 units. All right, let's get into the watch. So this watch is made of high intensity titanium, has a diameter of 46.9 millimeters, a height of 17.0 millimeters, a sapphire crystal, and a solid case back. So the case material, like I said, Seiko calls it high intensity titanium. It's neither like grade 5 or grade 9, but I guess it's like a special titanium, according to them, that's twice as hard as regular titanium. So it makes the titanium material, as you know, titanium is pretty tough. It's durable, but it's also lightweight. This is a bigger watch, so I welcome the titanium here. As I prefer steel watches. But given the size of this watch, the titanium is welcome here. This watch comes in at about 174 grams. So although you feel it on the wrist, it's nowhere near something like a Rolex DeepSea, right? Rolex DeepSea, like you better be working out to be wearing that watch daily. And that's why I sold my DeepSea. As much as I love that watch, I just found it too heavy to wear on a regular basis. Although I love the design, the engineering, the legacy of that watch, I got rid of it. Just too heavy for the wrist. Picked this watch up here and I'm loving it. Excellent feel on the wrist. It's, has the presence for the wrist, but it's not gonna give you some wrist problems in the future. So what are some of the functions of this watch? Hours, minutes, essential sweep seconds, and a date. Movement has a caliber 9S85 self-winding automatic mechanical movement. Like I said, it's a high beat, 36,000 vibrations per hour or 5 hertz. It has a power reserve of 55 hours. The strap, titanium bracelet with 3-fold clasp, and it's also adjustable. I know a lot of people complain about this clasp. I have no issues with this clasp whatsoever. All right, let's zoom out a little bit here. Let's get this thing open. I think this is a wonderful clasp. I know a lot of people complain. They say it's a bit flimsy in the metal. And this part here, I don't see any issues with it. I think this thing is durable, built to last. I would go to war with this watch. I've owned this watch for a few months. It's proven it to me. I'll take this watch anywhere. This thing is a beast. All right. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more on the watch. Let you look at that nice sweep. All right, a couple more specs. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is a professional watch, professional diver's watch, right, for saturation diving. It also has a valve-free helium resistance. As the case is designed for saturation diving, there needs to be a way to provide the helium gas to escape, right? As you know, like Rolex and Omega, they have a helium escape valve. Omega has usually like an extra crown around the 10 o'clock. That thing can look ugly, cumbersome. A lot of people don't like it. I don't really, care too much for it. Rolex DeepSea has a little ring around the 9 o'clock. It's more stealth, and it works just fine. But it looks like Grand Seiko here has their own proprietary thing. And it's done by a valve-free helium escape system that uses only heavy-duty construction and an L-shaped gasket which keeps the helium out, which results in a case which, is pretty smooth and not marred by an automatic escape valve or a manual one in the form of some type of crown, like I mentioned about the Omega. Has a unidirectional bezel. Let's go and check that out. I think the bezel is pretty heavy duty. Smooth. I put it right up there with my sea dwellers. I've had all kinds of sea dwellers from the 90s, 2000s. Beautiful bezel. Like I said, the dial, it's a dark blue dial. It's textured with raised squares. It has forms a pattern. Beautiful blue. You know, I prefer my watches with black dials, but this is a very dark blue, so really love it. It also has a very impressive magnetic resistance of 16,000 amperes per meter. I've also read that the iron dial also serves to protect the movement from magnetic fields, so I think that helps out there. For those that you don't know, amperes per meter quantifies the strength of a magnetic field, essentially measuring how strongly a magnetic force acts on a given area. When it comes to watches, mechanical watches, they're susceptible to magnetic fields, which can magnetize the internal components, specifically the balance spring, right? And it can lead to inaccurate timekeeping. A little bit more about the movement. It's a 9S85 high beat movement, 36,000 vibrations per hour, 5 hertz, like I mentioned earlier. I haven't viewed the inside, but I heard that the inside of the movement is pretty decorated, similar to like the concept of a Côte de Genève, I guess, or like, you know, a decorated movement. I think they call it decorated with pelage, right? Fancy movement, looks pretty inside, but we can't look at it, right? We don't, you know, it's a closed case back, right? It's a 600-meter diver. Why wouldn't it be a closed case back? The movement also features Grand Seiko's own hairspring and mainspring with a power reserve of 55 hours. And that's even despite, you know, like the high energy consumption of the high frequency movement. Seiratsu finishing, right? The finishing on the titanium case, it has Seiratsu polishing, or I think Seiratsu stands for like blade. It's a technique that Seiko developed, I think in the 60s. Let's see. So the technique, it takes a lot of skill and it's very labor intensive, and it's expensive to produce. It's done by hand, so this is like hand finishing on this watch. It also has like a brush finish to it as well. And I think that given the Seiratsu polishing and the brush finish makes this watch even more unique, because, you know, there's different technicians that actually do the Seiratsu finishing and the brush finish. And I think they'll do it, you know, to how they see it in the light. So every watch, I think, will be, you know, pretty unique. And it's already unique because it's limited. All right, so this watch, when it first came out, I think it sold for around 12,000 euros, or around $9,000. These days, you can pick this thing up for around like 6 grand, or even less than 6 grand, like in the high 5K range. And I think that's a steal. Like, this thing is a beast, and like the engineering and the specifications on this watch and the build quality, it's just excellent. Excellent. If you can pick this watch up, pick it up. Trust me. I also have another watch on the way, the Grand Seiko SBGH257 spring drive professional diver, right? I think that was like their latest professional diver that came out back in 2020. And yes, I will be doing a review of that watch, and we'll be doing a versus, right? We'll put these two things up against each other. So yeah, I absolutely love this watch. Had it for a few months. I would take this watch to war with me. I think it's definitely MIL-SPEC. I mean, this thing is a tank. It's a beast. Not selling this watch. We'll pass it down to my kids. Stay tuned for that versus video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will be making more watch videos. I know I've been slacking, took some time off on that. More videos to come. Stay tuned. Please subscribe and like. Let me know what you think. Any questions, hit me up. All right, MIL-SPEC out.